Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday. So, tonight I want to talk to you about something that I know happens to all of us. So, my first question off the top: how often does a song come on the radio and you hear that song and it like jolts you back in an instant to a particular time and place in your life? A photo, you see a photo and you just obviously it instantaneously takes you back to that moment. A saying, you hear somebody say something and it reminds you of your grandma because your grandma used to say that, right? Or an object, you see something and it makes you think about somebody or something that happened from your past. Well, I had such a situation happen to me recently with an object. So, got to give you a little background. My parents owned a business in Kenmare, North Dakota called Harris Equipment and Motors. And Harris Equipment was an implement dealership. And we had these shop rags. They were like these purplish kind of grease rags, shop rags, everywhere. Like you could find them all over the shop. And mechanics used them. People putting equipment together used them. We used them for everything to clean whatever we were doing, right? Because it's a messy business. So my dad still carries around these shop rags to this day. I mean, he hasn't been in business since, gosh, well, years and years and years ago. But he still carries these things around. And when we're working together in my garage or whatever, he pulls it out of his pocket and wipes his brow or whatever he does. I don't really think that much about it because, we're working and that's what they're meant for. Well, just the other night, I was playing cards with my mom and dad, and I think my dad sneezed or something, and he pulls out this stupid rag, and I don't know if he wiped his nose or he must have because he sneezed, right? And it's just like in that moment, I'm immediately jolted back to working at the shop as a teenager. Okay, and so I got to tell you a little bit about what I did there. At this time, I started in the shop sweeping floors and whatever, but at this time I was working in the parts department. And a farm implement dealership is really busy during harvest in particular, right? Because the farmers are all in the field, their combines are breaking down, they're coming in to get parts. And so in our shop in Kenmare, the parts department had the counter out in front, and then there was a door that went into the back parts room, okay? Stay with me here. I swear this is going to get good. And you open this door, and there was like a long hallway, and on each side there were shelves, right, where all the parts were. Well, way in the back, like if you open this door and you go all the way back, there was an open area in the back, and the trucks would bring in just massive amounts of parts, like every day, right? And my job was to unbox those parts and put them away in the shelves so that the partsmen out front could find them when people came in to get them, right? So I'm opening these boxes and uncrating stuff and checking things off, and there was a counter literally straight back. So if I'm in the back in this area where I'm unloading, I'm standing at this counter, I could look to my left and see the door, right, that came to the back. Okay, seriously. Okay, I'm laughing again, see, because there's so much joy right here. So, and just as a disclaimer, if you don't like sort of off-color humor, you may not like this video, so maybe you want to just cut out right now. But I think it's funny, and it's a moment and a memory that I will forever cherish as long as I live. So I'm standing there, and all of a sudden this door flies open, and Chuck Leet, and I'm saying his name because I know that he won't care that I'm saying this because I know Chuck, and I know he won't care. So he flies open, and Chuck is not a small guy. He's not huge, but he's not like, an athlete by any means, right? And the door flies open, and he comes running down the aisle, and I'm just looking at him like, what the heck is going on here? And he's running, and all of a sudden he jumps in the air, and as he jumps in the air, he passes gas. Okay, I know this is stupid. I know this is silly. But if you can see this man, it was frickin' hilarious. Because I'm like, what is going on? Why is he running? And he's just bolting towards the back, and then whoosh. And as he jumps up, he lets the biggest fart. Okay, I'm just going to say, I will never forget that image. And then he just looks at me, turns around, and casually walks back to the door, opens it, and goes back to helping customers up front. So that was my memory that was evoked by this stupid shop rag, okay? And that will make me smile and make me laugh for the rest of my life. And I will forever remember Chuck Leet because of that. And I'm so grateful for that memory. I know it's silly. I know it's kind of off color, like I said, but I think it's amazing. So I want to encourage everybody to just remember we all have an amazing ability to touch and change people's lives every single day, and we don't know it. Chuck Leet probably doesn't remember that moment. He doesn't remember doing that. I remember that, and I have told that story over and over to countless people who don't know who he is, and it's made me smile 100 times. So go out in the world, be yourselves, be your own true and genuine self, because, own it. I know Chuck does. Love.